The new Corolla Cross. Fill it with friendship and family. The new Corolla Cross. Filled with life.
iDiskiTV powered by World Sports Betting. iDiskiTimes.co.za. Kaiser Chiefs are out of the CAF Confederations Cup. It's a day that started with Kaiser Chiefs being number one in the group. Throughout the week, they were number one. There was always a chance that if Zamalek beats Chiefs and Al Masry beats Zesco, then Chiefs would be out. They started at number one, leading by 2 or 3 points, and then results overturned themselves. They now lose on number of goals scored vis-a-vis on goal difference versus Al Masry. There was a point last week where Chiefs could have beaten Al Masry by 3-1. That would have meant that they would have qualified on head-to-head even before tonight. But anyways, not to labor the point, Kaiser Chiefs are out of the CAF Confederations Cup. Congratulations to them. They gave themselves a good shot. They got to the group stages. In South Africa, they were number 10 as opposed to becoming number 3 to qualify. So that means they qualified by going through the cup route. And then they got a decent run. Played 8 matches on the continent, if not more. So that was not too bad. They almost went to the knockout stages. Tso Vilakazi, we've just watched Kaiser Chiefs. It's not a disappointing performance because they were always in the game. They defended, and then, of course, they were being attacked as well. Your summary of the game, sir?
Mr. Ngio, to be really honest, we're always going to support our teams, even though we know that in terms of the quality and how these teams are coming from the north, how they play when they play at home. And yeah, with the Kaizer Chiefs, I thought they would play a draw. And that was my wish, based on, especially, they've went to the break with a draw 0-0, and I expected that if they can keep it that way, and maybe they will go through. But again, Zamalek, it's a good team, Mr. Kyo. Let's be honest. How they've played the first half and the second half, they deserve to get goals. I mean, check first half, the chances that they had, they missed. If you count those chances and then you count the goals that they've scored, that should be maybe 4 or 5, if not mistaken. So I think they deserve to win Zamalek. Well done to Amakosi for life. Yeah, it was not an easy journey for them. Remember, Mr. K, we come from the wild. We're number 10.
The last time Chiefs were in CAF competition.
Yeah, no, we
5 years ago.
Wild. Yeah, you know, as we come with surprises as Makos, you know, when no one thought that we can make things happen, and then we can make things happen. So yeah, well, they had to fight. And one thing that I would say, Mr. Kyo, and this is something that I will repeat again. Kaizer Chiefs, they find themselves in the situation that we were once in as Bafana Bafana, where we had to beat, I think it was Gabon. We had to beat Gabon as Bafana Bafana. We played a draw with them, forgetting that the head-to-head thing plays a part.
Oh, I remember that. That was a long time ago. I think it was in
Yes,
2012.
in Bombela.
2012
Yes.
was to beat Niger, if I'm not
Is it
mistaken.
Niger?
Something
Yes. So same applies to Kaizer Chiefs. They had an opportunity at home.
Yeah, last week. If
Last
they
week,
won
to
3-1,
beat them 3-1.
they would
I
have
mean,
been
these
fine.
are the things that I'm not gonna put more on the coach, but I would say the whole team, including the office itself, to say let's go through the rules. You know, the rules of the tournament, of the competition, to say if this happened, this is what happened, and if we play until this point, this is what the team needs to go through. So I think last week Chiefs had an opportunity. They had an opportunity to get a third goal, but they decided that no, the 2-1 is okay, and then we sit, hoping that they'll get a draw against Zamalek. But you know, when you look at the games, Mr. Gill, you need to be realistic and say how we played against Zamalek at home. That game Chiefs lost that game. If we go really to the football details and how they scored goals, the penalties that the Zamalek didn't get it. So now, when you go to them, you should know. You should know that these guys are good. These guys are better than us, so they're going to beat us. But yeah, I think it's something that Kaizer Chiefs as a whole, you know, the technical team, the office, they should learn that such things, they make a difference in the game that you need to calculate. And when you calculate, check the head-to-head, check the goal difference, and look at the games, which games that you think they are more important, so that when you go through this game, you know that even I lose the last game, but I know that I'm through.
Yeah. Good performers today. Also the performance as well. What do you think of the approach? Who were the good performers from Chiefs?
Look, Chiefs, there were moments, Mr. Gwe, where I thought Chiefs are in the game. Chiefs are there. Chiefs, especially first half when the game started, I thought Chiefs, they wanted an early goal. Chiefs, they wanted an early goal. But after about 15, 20 minutes, then the game swing to Zamalek, where now Zamalek they dominate the game. Chiefs now they were in their back foot. But again, Mr. Gwe, I don't know who said when you play a low block, it's safe. I don't know who said that. Because when you play a low block, in the field of play, there are 22 players, Mr. Q. If you play a low block, that means in your half, you've got 21 players. So that means chances of you making mistakes are 99%. You will make mistakes because everyone is there. Any move that is going to happen in the box, anyone can get it and get a goal. And I don't know why everyone is obsessed about this low block, because even Chiefs, they had that low block, of which for me it didn't help them. Instead, it created more problems, because the more you've got the low block, is the more you invite the opponents in your half or in your box, and you will end up having a situation of 1v1 right inside the box. So any 10 that they're gonna make there, it's gonna be a goal.
Yeah, let's talk about Chiefs in Africa. It sounds like a joke when I say that 5 years ago they were in Africa, and then we never saw them again in Africa. That should tell you something about a big team, because the Chiefs is the biggest team, of course, in the country. If you find yourself in Africa and you even go all the way in 2020 to go to the final, then you scratch that itch. You must look for it more. That's why when Pirates were in the semifinals last year, we're like, yes, come back now. Come back for more this year. Which is why it was disappointing when they were out with against Ilupopo. You know, you scratch that itch. You want to do it all the time. What does this say then moving forward with Chiefs? Does that mean every year they must either try to win Nedbank Cup or they must secure number 3 to then reintroduce themselves to Africa? Africa won every 5 years.
No, this is something that Kaizer Chiefs they had to look at. You can't be a big team and then you can't compete with the big teams. If you call yourself a big team, then that means you need to compete with big teams. I mean, Al-Ahly, those are big teams. Also, Abu Sundowns, they're the Champions League. We're not talking about Confederations Cup. We're talking about where I believe that Chiefs they should play the Champions League, Al-Ahly, all those big teams. But yes, even play the Confederations Cup, it's still also one competition that also the big teams they play, because Zamalek is one of the big teams. So they compete there. So it should be now. It should get to their system to say, as a big team, we need to compete with the best, and to compete with the best, we start here at home. Here at home, we need to do the right things.
Always be in the top 3.
Yeah, you need to be there. If you want to compete with the best in the continent, then we start at home. That's why they always say, chariots begin at home. So you need to start here at home, do the right things at home, and then it will take you amongst the best.
All right, there you go. Thank you very much, Mr. Tso. So that was Kaizer Chiefs in Egypt against Zamalek. The game became dramatic, of course, because it was 2-0, and it was like, okay, the South African team is out. Let's pack our bags and go home. And then boom, 2-1, Claude. But then it became a little bit dramatic towards the end. Chiefs were always in it if they could equalize, but they couldn't. And Al Masry were beating Zesco on the other side. So that's how it ends. It's 11 points, 10 points, 10 points, something like that. But Chiefs are tied on points with someone else, but because of number of goals scored, which is Al Masry, they are out of the competition. iDiskiTV, iDiski Times, what's suspecting?
Hola Bafethu, this is Junior Kanye. Please subscribe to iDiskiTV.
This is Bongane Benedict Vilakazi, they call me Tso. Niyazi bafethu, amakhosi for life, they are back in winning ways. Please, siyacela ukuthi subscribe iDiskiTV.